Question for you. Why tend to our healing in the wintertime when it feels so difficult? Everything feels difficult. Welcome everyone. I'm Kiran Patti of Brownswell Healing, earth-based healer and leadership coach. And I was taking a walk today and have been taking a walk the last many days in this beautiful conservation area close to my home. And taking pictures as I am creating some meditations for my new course, Staying Lit in the Dark. Healing meditations for the winter time and for being in the dark and finding our light in the dark. And it's inspired by winter. And so I've been out here taking pictures, being with the land, being with the wisdom that it offers. And what's really struck me is how intimate this time of year is, how I can see parts of the earth that I couldn't before this time of year. The leaves have fallen, the branches are bare, the earth is becoming exposed. There are moments where there's snowfall, and so then the ground isn't as obvious, but the snowfall also starts to melt at times, and when it does, the earth gets so compacted, it also starts to expose the ground beneath us. There's just swaths of land that you couldn't access when you had full trees that were full of leaves, and the branches were full. It's just like thick brush that was hard to get through. And now I'm able to, I'm finding like hidden ponds and just corners of this forest that I wasn't able to access before. And so it's really making me think about how even in the healing cycle, I found, and the reason why I do earth-based healing is that the healing arc is really similar to the earthly cycle of the seasons, that there is sort of this 4 seasonal rhythm to the way that we heal, and to the way that we heal naturally. And I find that the winter time is, as much as it's an ending, especially in our collective and the way that we regard winter, it's also very much the beginning of the cycle. Less so spring. I find that in winter is when the beginning is happening. When these two worlds are really merging, there's like all this death and decomposition. And I think about the healing journey, I find that the winter, it's so much easier to, someone's birthday, I gotta tell them happy birthday. Happy birthday, Lori. Say it on publicly too. I hope you're listening. Anywho, in the wintertime, I feel like we just naturally start to find ourselves in a moment of the year where we're reflecting, where we're digesting, where we are looking back on the year that just passed. And the earth is also slowing down. There's this energy of slowing that we're being invited into that allows us to digest and decompose. But as that's happening, also just let's introduce the twig too. Welcome, we hear you. As much as there's a decomposing, like there's nutrients that are coming forth. Like actually that's great. That was great timing. Thank you for entering the conversation with beautiful timing. Look, there's growth. There's growth. And we're still in the early stages of winter. That growth is starting to happen. It's definitely a much more dormant growth, but it's happening, and I think that process starts in the fall. And so I find that winter is that time not just to reflect and to think back on what's already happened, but in that process, we're breaking things down. It's providing insight, it's providing illumination, and that's going to be the raw material that's going to create the seed. So I do find that winter's not quite the seed, like the seed isn't there yet, but all the information is coming together to create the seed that we're going to then plant in the spring, and it's going to have all the information that holds like the body of work that we are healing around for the coming year. And what I mean by that is, I really do find that as I start to acknowledge the cyclical nature of my healing and allow myself to sync up with the seasons, that I do find winter, both with myself and with my clients, is a powerful time when we get so much insight into what's our work for this year. And it shows itself very clearly, like, Jesus, the winter, there's so much that just comes to the surface so quickly, triggers and agitations. And so, I feel like that all gives insight into what we'll be working on. And do find that the patterns and the things that are really getting activated in the winter are the things that then I'm really learning about over the year. It goes into that seed I planted in the spring, and then I'm watering it and I'm seeing it grow. The winter also is where I get insight into, okay, how can I work with this? How can I work on healing this energy or these patterns that are really showing themselves this year? And so then I start to play with that in the springtime when I have more energy and there's more openness. And I see the blooming of that in the springtime, and and there's like the harvest of it, the application of it, and then the slowing again as fall and winter comes to reflect and be like, okay, what did I learn? How did I deepen? And what's the next step? So just wanted to offer that to you. We'll be exploring this cycle in my new class, Staying Lit in the Dark, through exercises and meditations, helping identify what's my body of work this year. And so that you can both create your seed, but also find tools on how to acknowledge and get intimate with what's showing itself in the winter time, because it's not easy. The winter is dark and cold and agitating, and I think we're still relearning how to recognize that that's normal, but also that like what can feel like such intense suffering is we have the skills and the tools to move towards it. So that's what this course is all about. Lots of tools to help us feel capable of being in the dark, in the harsh conditions of winter, and the healing that's presenting itself at this time of year. So I hope that was helpful. I'll be writing more about this also in my newsletters and here on my Instagram page over the coming weeks through winter, and how that changes also through the seasons, how that healing cycle changes through the seasons. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're getting a chance to get outside and be intimate with the earth, be intimate with yourself and the parts of yourself that are showing themselves that maybe aren't as visible at other times of year because we're busy and we're out and we're enjoying. Hope that that's happening for you. Sending much love to you.